What's up everyone, welcome back to some more Doom Eternal lore. So in the last video, I covered a few characters and topics that barely got mentioned since the announcement of Doom Eternal. Now we're going to look at some small lore pieces about some other characters. While this information is only a small portion, we will get a deeper look into each character through the codex entries when the game is released. I'm also going to include my thoughts on some of these characters. I want to start off with the Pain Elemental, a returning enemy from previous Doom games. It says here, an abhorrent creation of the umbral planes, the Pain Elemental is descended from the primal, abominable depths of the demon world. Knowing only its own torment, the Pain Elemental is cursed to forge lost souls within the fiery pit of its gut, a process that is excruciating and without end for the duration of the creature's miserable life. The Pain Elemental's only reprieve from its own agonizing and torturous existence is the projection of suffering into the world. For this reason, the Pain Elemental reaps great satisfaction from killing indiscriminately, destroying its environment and inflicting misery on the innocent. From that description, it seems to indicate that the creature is fully aware of the pain it endures during its existence. Not only that, but it seems to have a motive or desire to cause pain and suffering onto other beings. So it's not a mindless creature after all. Its actions seem to be an act of revenge because of how it suffers. Next up is one of the newer creatures in Doom Eternal. Meet the Carcass. It's the product of inhuman biomechanical engineering. The Carcass was created in the remote labs of the Cultist Enclave, neither truly living nor dead. It exists in a state of partial reanimation, its cybernetic armature simulating a living impulse within a decaying organic host. Devised as a means of extending a soldier's usefulness in combat after death, the unliving host can only be destroyed by severing the body from its cybernetic implants. Judging by its name, I get the idea that it's supposed to be a pile of rotting flesh slapped onto some machinery. I'm just saying, the name really fits the art design. Since it was created by the Cultists, it seems like they were trying to grab every scrap of body they could find, and they come up with this. It's pretty gross, but still a cool design. And now, let's look at the Tyrant, which was previously known as the Cyberdemon back in the other Doom games. From the gameplay footage I've seen online, it seems they wanted a lot of higher tier enemies in Doom Eternal. Something else they can throw at the Doomslayer from time to time, and not just as a single boss battle. So it seems we're going to see this enemy pretty often in the game. So the information we have about the Tyrant is that they are demon lords of the Black Soul Pits of Babel. The Tyrants have long served as wardens and slavers of the infernal pits. Weaponized and cybernetically altered by the USC, the Tyrants are tasked with overseeing the collection and extraction of sin-branded human souls from the mortal world. They impose rule as ordained by the unholy sigil of the elder demon gods, sadistic masters of lesser demons. The Tyrants are feared for their cruelty and malice. Next up is a small note about the Hell Priests. It talks about the fall of Exultia, which is also mentioned in the Codex entries. During a time when the Doomslayer had allied with the Sentinels, they agreed to take a group of their finest warriors and wage an attack against the Khan Maykr. The priests would go with them to a certain point. Then, through their lies, they said they would help the Sentinels in their cause. Persuaded by the priests, the Sentinels believed their words. Destroy the foundry and victory is assured. But we were all fools to believe their lies. We sent the Doomslayer and the Night Sentinels on this task through a gate. When the last of our group was through, the priests closed the gate, trapping them, leaving them stranded and lost in the eternal void. With the fall of Exultia, the Sentinel theocracy began to change. It had long served as the mortal foundation for the Sentinel society, but its demise caused a chain reaction throughout the world. The priesthood, falling under the insidious and gradual persuasion of Hell's influence, in time abandoned the holy text and disavowed its founding doctrine. An era of corruption followed, destroying the church from within. One thing I want to mention is when King Novik says to the Slayer, "You cannot kill the priests, you know our laws. Despite their transgressions against the covenant, they are still of Sentinel blood." So this means the Slayer cannot eliminate a priest by normal means. We later see the Doomslayer acquire a medallion which possibly gives him the power to eliminate the Hell Priests once and for all. Ever since Doom Eternal was announced, we have seen new monsters throughout various media outlets. While some old monsters are returning with small adjustments to their body, other creatures are shown with an entirely new concept and design. The Gargoyle is a new enemy in Doom Eternal. It says that this demon is a cousin of the Imp. It's agile, a relentless pack hunter, native to the Sentinel world, and plagued the Sentinel guards for centuries. The Gargoyle could appear without warning and claim hapless townspeople before disappearing into the wasteland. Only the most skilled marksman of the Night Sentinel could intercept this aerial threat, a peril which necessitates an ever-vigilant watch over the city's perimeter. If we look back at the Doom Bible, which was all the ideas planned for the original Doom game, it shows that one enemy they had in mind was a flying imp. I'm not saying a flying imp idea was taken from the Doom Bible, I'm just showing that this variation was mentioned before Doom Eternal. Next up is the Revenant. With the destruction of the UAC facility on Mars, the Revenant species should not have returned. But here's the answer. The newly emerged Cultist enclave on Earth, which was made up of former UAC divisions who are now under Hell's direct control, have begun work on a second wave of production of the Revenant program. While much of the platform's existing weapon payload is preserved as originally designed, the cyber neural programming has undergone modifications. Patterned signals which simulate a state of frenzied, unrestrained bloodlust are wired to the host's frontal cortex. While these signals are active, the host is incapable of thinking or feeling anything. It has a single compulsion: to inflict death and violence on the living. While its combat tactics have remained the same, it now has a special ability. The targeted rocket barrage shoots out a volley of rockets. Multiple rockets are released at an increased speed. Another new demon in Doom Eternal that I want to look at is the Doom Hunter. It's mostly made up of mechanical parts with very little organic material. The design is very unique in that it hovers above the ground for movement. It has weapons for close and long-range combat. According to the lore, they were an ancient race of beast-like hunters. The Sentinels knew about the Doom Hunter as a lethal stalker during the Metal Age. Extracted from the frozen depths of the polar tundra, the Doom Hunter was uncovered during cultist excavation in the remote Arctic. Though preserved below for millions of years, the unearthed remains of this creature were deemed suitable for reconstruction, becoming the subject of cultist necro-regenerative bioexperimentation. Within the remote cultist citadel, a high-tech ritual altar which towers over the Golgothon ruins, the Doom Hunter was ceremoniously and systematically resurrected and rebuilt. While the majority of its components are now cybernetic, it retains a high degree of mental faculty, a sentient, brutal hunting instinct, augmented with the armaments of a tank division. The official trailer revealing the Doom Hunter has someone saying they were once called the Great Argadon Hunters, long thought to be extinct, created to hunt only the Slayer and, if not, the Sentinels during the Unholy Crusade. Enjoy what is undoubtedly my finest work. Since the cultist group is led by the Hell Priests, it's most likely that one of them was responsible for bringing back the Doom Hunter. This leads us to look at how the cultists are connected to the UAC. After the events on Mars in 2016, the UAC splintered into competing factions. In their search to tap into Hell's dimension, the secret research divisions of the UAC would become drawn to its power. This opened a pathway to evil. They were now corrupted by Hell's influence. They united and broke away from the UAC. Later on, they would establish their own presence on Earth. Despite their previous traditions, they would soon mutate into a cult of ritual sacrifice and blood offerings to ancient demonic gods. Consumed by evil, the cult's followers had become living shells. human vessels for Hell's bidding, ultimately answering directly to the commands of the elusive Hell Priest, Dig Ranak. The last demon we will look at is the Archvile, and finally, we have some actual new lore about this demon. It says this: forged from the Hellfire, the Archvile is feared among lesser demons for its innate ability to channel and manipulate the unholy powers of Hell magic. Descended from the eldest race of demons, the Archvile has long held a place within the ruling caste of highborn lords, possessing superior intellect among the demon ranks. The Archvile's psychomancy powers make it a natural-born ruler of the savage and primitive beasts of Hell, capable of bending weak-minded underlings to serve its will. So that's it for this video on some extended lore with more characters. When the game is released, I will cover more information that is shown in the codex items. I have covered a few topics around Doom Eternal and also some older Doom lore videos. To see more videos about Doom lore, just subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. I do have a Patreon page if you want to support me directly on there. As my channel is about any type of lore that interests me, you will see me cover topics in other franchises, but I also have a full playlist about all the lore I've covered over the past few years, so check it out, as you might see something of interest. Thanks for watching this video and supporting my channel. My name is Carlos, or Acid Glow, and I'll see you in the next video.